Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into one of the most intense physical and psychological transformations on the planet, the life cycle of the French Foreign Legion. We're going to track this incredible journey from the very second an anonymous civilian walks up to the gates, all the way to the absolute heights of military command. Let's get right into how this actually works.
Okay, I want you to picture this for a second. You arrive at the massive, imposing gates of a fort in France. You reach into your pocket, and you literally hand over your passport. And in exchange for that little booklet, the thing that proves who you are, where you've been, your whole life story, they hand you a brand new identity and a uniform. I mean, it sounds like the start of a spy movie, right? But this is the actual physical transaction that kicks off a Legionnaire's life. You are literally trading your entire existing world for a completely new existence.
So let's look at Phase 1, surrendering your past.
This is the ultimate trade-off at those gates. On one side, you have your old life, your passport, your personal history, your specific identity. Basically, everything that makes you, well, you. But cross that threshold, you're on side B. You get a uniform, a new number, and a total blank slate. You don't bring any of your old baggage, your past achievements, or your failures into this world. The swap is absolute, and it happens immediately.
You essentially become just a number. Your past, it just doesn't exist anymore. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth do they do this? Well, to build a tight, cohesive military unit out of people from literally all over the globe, everyone has to be brought down to the exact same fundamental baseline. You're completely emptied out so the military machine can pour its own culture, its own rules, and its own survival instincts right into you.
Which brings us to Phase 2, surviving the selection process.
After you shed that past, there's a very specific sequence you have to follow. You actually have to conquer the discipline of marching long before they ever trust you to learn how to shoot. Really think about that for a second. You don't just hand a lethal weapon to someone who hasn't totally mastered physical movement and unquestioning obedience. You have to learn to move as one body, to march as a perfectly synchronized unit, way before you ever get to pull a trigger.
So building this rock-solid foundation of discipline always comes before tactical skills. Selection isn't even about combat prowess at this stage. It's an absolutely uncompromising breakdown of your civilian habits. Marching is just the physical manifestation of that mental discipline. It's the literal foundation of a soldier being poured, almost like concrete, setting you up for everything that follows.
Next up, we move right into Phase 3, life in the ranks.
This is where we see the chronological climb. You start out on day 1 as a totally nameless civilian taking orders. Then, you push through selection, literally putting one foot in front of the other. Eventually, you graduate into the ranks where you're finally trusted to execute complex orders under intense pressure. And all of this, it points toward the ultimate future goal, earning a leadership role. Because here's the thing, you absolutely cannot lead if you haven't lived through every single step of this progression yourself.
Experiencing every single rank is the core essence of this whole journey. It's not just about getting a promotion, it's about deeply, intimately understanding the entire organism of the military. You transform from that blank slate we talked about earlier into a highly seasoned soldier who knows exactly what it feels like to be the lowest recruit. Why? Because you were that recruit. It creates this incredible unbroken chain of empathy and expectation running completely up and down the chain of command.
And that sets the stage for Phase 4, ascending to command.
This is the climax of the journey, going from total anonymity to absolute command. The person who was once just a number, just trying to learn how to walk in a straight line, now sits in the ultimate seat of authority. There are no shortcuts here. You don't just parachute into this leadership position from the outside world. No way. You earn it by surviving the entire gauntlet. So, the life cycle is complete. You traded your passport for a uniform. You survived a genuinely brutal selection process. You mastered marching, then shooting, and climbed through every single rank. And now you command the next generation arriving at those very same gates. The whole journey comes full circle. The person who gave up their identity is now the exact person molding the identities of the newly arrived.
So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Looking at this incredibly demanding life cycle, could you actually do it? Could you walk up to those gates, hand over your passport, completely erase your past, and become just a number? Thanks for tuning into this explainer, and keep questioning what you're truly capable of.